So what's good, everybody? This is the 6th episode of r/Tales from Retail. Welcome or welcome back. I'm your host, Burnntt Toast. Before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button, comment down below, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you know when I upload new episodes. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we have, congratulations, you beat my price. So I used to sell cars, and the dealership I worked at said if you have an itemized quote that is legitimately less than ours, we will match it and beat it by $100. We did this because we price super aggressively. I had one customer hear this and he said he was going to use it. I said, that's fine. He placed his order for a truck that came out to like maybe $55,000. He wanted what he wanted. After weeks and weeks of searching, he came in with an itemized quote and he said, I got something that is less. I said, okay, great, let me see it. After reviewing what he brought in, I noticed it was $172 less. I confirmed my math with him and he agreed. I asked, how much time did you spend on this? He smiled. Every Saturday for the last 6 weeks. I nodded my head and said, well, looks like they're $172 less, so I'll go ahead and get you your $272 discount put on the order. Now this guy made like $175K a year at his day job. Assuming he spent 8 hours a day, honestly probably spent more time during the week shopping for a lower price, he earned maybe $5.60 an hour for his efforts. This one's entitled, I told you so. The grocery store I worked at was undergoing a complete and total reorganization. Aisles were changing and we were all learning where everything was. Needless to say, it was chaos. At the time this happened, we were pretty busy and I had a line of customers, but Karen decides to skip the line to ask me where something was. I don't remember the exact item, but it was something like paper plates or something that would be near them. Plastic forks, straws, I don't know, something. Since I had a line of customers, I couldn't leave to help her find them, so I told her, I believe they're now on aisle 7. Now before I could even get on my walkie to ask someone for sure, she storms off, only to come storming back a couple of minutes later to tell me they're not there. A manager is now nearby, so I ask him if he can help her. And I tell him I thought they were on 7, but she said they were not. He looks confused and says, okay, maybe they're on 8. I'll help you find them, ma'am. As they were about to walk away, she turns to me and says, you should know better than to tell someone where something is if you don't actually know. Long story short, she comes back to check out, but goes to another line. As the manager comes back, he leans in and whispers to me, they were on aisle 7 like you told her. Ha! I told you so! Crazy Karen. This is going to be a good one. It's entitled, Oh, You Will Stay Open and Serve Me. So this evening, I was on a closer. A customer came in asking to sign up to a contract and have it added to his Wi-Fi one. See, we do phone and Wi-Fi plans. And in order to get him started, I asked if he had a license or a passport. This is required to avoid fraud or people reselling or identity theft. And of course, he didn't. So he left and came back with an ID card for a workplace. I told him a second time what he needed. So he huffed and puffed and said he'd get one and come back. This time he comes back with a citizen's card. We can't accept those, they don't have the required stuff. And so I explained a third time what he needs. He goes off saying ID is ID, and I'm required to serve him, and he'll cancel his whole contract. Do I look like I care? This guy asks when we close. I tell him 7, and he says, I'll be back at 7. So I say, that's when we close. Then he turns around and yells, when I get back, I'll be served, and I'll come under the shutter if need be. Now I'm picking up sketch vibes. He knew he needed these things the first time around. So I call a security guard, as the shop is in a mall, to come stand there at 7 while I'm over here panicking. Because of my call, 2 guards show up and stand around until I close. Finally, the guy came back and started saying I didn't tell him what was needed and that I was to serve him, and he was tired and wanted to go home. Like, get out of here, dude. Really? It's closing time. So I try to sympathize and relate. Of course, now he's acting all calm because I have security there. He says he'll be complaining about me to higher ups and he leaves. Yeah, okay. Tell them you didn't have the required papers and verbally abused a minimum wage worker to the point where she felt she needed security there because of you. See if I care. And yes, I will be telling my manager about this in the morning. Crazy people. Get out of here. What do you expect? Next up we have, no, my husband doesn't work for Walmart. Now this is a bit shorter than most and happened to my husband, not me, so this story is secondhand. My husband and I just got new phones and we've been used to having phones with headphone jacks, and I've always used wired headphones. Our new phones don't have these, and I was a bit sad about not having headphones that worked with the phone. So my husband went to Walmart looking for some Bluetooth headphones. My husband doesn't work for Walmart. He works for another cable company and was wearing his work clothes because he was on his lunch break. So he's in his khaki pants, polo, and his green safety vest. It would make sense that someone might mistake him, but at the same time, it was green rather than yellow like Walmart's vest, and it had his company logo in huge letters. A woman came up to him and asked where the phone cases were and if he could get one for her. He said, your usual, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here." And her response was, "Oh, really?" She then proceeded to grab him by his vest and spin him around. He said, "Excuse me, please don't." And that's when she noticed his company logo on his vest and said, "Oh, you work for X, not here." She then apologized for the mistake, then walked away. Really, ma'am? Really? You couldn't just take a smooth look at his vest and see the difference? I think we're going to end it on this one. Occasionally, you have a positive. Well, earlier today I was mistaken for a store employee, but not a bad experience at all. I was up in London looking for presents, finally finished. Phew. And as I finished, I had a little time before the train home, so I popped into a shop I know for raw plugs, as I used a lot recently, and suddenly I heard it. Other shopper: "Excuse me, the hair dryer?" Me: Other shopper: "Did you have a hair dryer in the back?" Me: "I don't work here." Other shopper: "What? Then why did you?" Conversation suddenly dies off as a shop assistant he obviously been talking to walks into view with a hair dryer. My height, my build, similar hair. Oh, and the uniform is a black fleece top and black trousers without the logo. Even my clothes were pretty similar. The three of us just looked at each other, and all of us burst out laughing for several minutes. I got a laughter spluttered apology. Not that it was really needed in this case. The only negative? I laughed for too long and missed the train. Worth it though. Well, that's all for today, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of Burnntt Toast. If you would like to hear more Burnntt Toast, make sure you drop a like and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of my content so far. And don't forget, share and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you stay up to date on my latest installments. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.